Hey, I'm Taylor, a business consultant and strategist, and I'm here to teach you that you can scale your business sustainably. This is Simply Business, your playbook for structure, clarity, and strategy that grows your business without costing your lifestyle. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back to the Rich Low Carb podcast. I'm Tash and I'm here with Taylor. She is the founder of Strategic House, a very fun, what would you describe it as? Marketing business? Consulting?
Yeah, consulting business, yeah.
We just did an episode for your podcast, which was really awesome. And you have such an interesting story. I love that you are so young. I feel like you give off like very mature energy. So we're going to talk all about your money story. You're going to share your net worth with us as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Very exciting. Back to the start. Who was the first person who taught you about money?
Definitely my dad. So I'm the fourth generation in my business. I always say that, in my family to have a business.
Amazing.
So yeah, conversations around like money, business, like, you know, dad has multiple properties. Like it's just been like the norm for me growing up. Yeah.
What business does your dad have?
He has a roofing business. In the construction space, but I know I said this to you off air, but he's like never really picked up a tool. Like he knows how to do his things, but he's similar to you, built a business where he hasn't really been in that skill set. And I think it's cool in the sense that you really don't have to be skilled in that area to be good at business and have a thriving business in a certain industry.
I think it's almost better to be on the outside a little bit because then you don't get so caught up in the weeds of doing the doing, I guess. It's easier to like take an outside look and be like, oh, why are we doing it that way? How do we do it better? Because you just don't know already.
Yeah, exactly.
And your granddad or granddad?
Yeah, so it was dad's dad. So that was my pop. And then I'm the first that's a girl. So I'm like, look at me go, breaking the generational cycle.
I love that.
Yeah.
So they had the roofing business as well, your granddad?
He had a roofing business, and then he had like a news agency, I think, like had a few random things. And then I'm actually not sure what like my greats and great did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're more brick and mortar businesses.
Yeah. My granddad kind of works for himself now, but no one in my family has a business reflecting on that. And it took me a lot longer to feel comfortable starting a business. But you did yours quite young because you said you started it 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you were 20.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I've definitely always wanted to, like I was always like in the businessy kind of space. I even remember when like those coffee scrubs were like a thing, like when Frank Bod was coming out, I was like making my own coffee scrubs at home and selling them. Like I was always that kind of a person. But I honestly really struggled to get hired in the sense that I think it was like the time, like 2018, 2019 was when I was like in uni studying. So I was really struggling to get hired before I was qualified, but I was just like so willing to chuck myself in the deep end. And I was kind of just like, well, fuck it. Like I'm just going to do my own thing then. Like I know what I'm doing. Did some internships. So started with social media, like freelancing. So doing socials for businesses, and then figured out that I could just actually train businesses because I felt still like I was in working for them, which I didn't really like. And then, COVID times, I realized I could do it online. So that just like progressed really, really quickly. I think in my first 8 months of business, I turned over 6 figures as a sole trader.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So it grew really quickly.
It's like everyone was like excited to go online. Good timing with that.
Yeah, I think it was good timing. And I think it was like the time where a lot of people having to take over their own socials for their businesses, and it was like really, I feel like the start of like founder-led like personal brand businesses.
Yeah, definitely. Your first freelance gig, how did you get that? How did you even approach that? How did you know how to even look for clients back then?
It was all through word of mouth at the start. So I was actually, funnily enough, doing socials for like a mortgage broker. And then like the first company that like I trained was like McGrath real estate agents like in the local area for me, and I went and did like 3 sessions with them, and it was like through who mum and dad knew, especially being in the business space. So it was definitely more like working with mature like businesses, I would say.
Established businesses. How do you even know what to charge for something like that?
I'm like, here's my hotline.
I love that. I love that you love your dad. I love my dad as well.
Yeah. I'm like, what do I do? And he's been so good for me in terms of like, obviously, like you've got to eat a frog in business in terms of like you're going to work for free at the start.
Interesting. I've not heard that before.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I hear that saying all the time of just like, working for free, like eating frogs, of just like doing the uncomfortable things that people aren't willing to do usually, that's going to stand you out from competitors. But then he's also been good at like, okay, well, if you're traveling this and you've got this much prep time and then you're running this and this is the return they can get.
I love that.
So that's been good for me. But yeah, I feel like then I kind of naturally progressed into the coaching industry, and space was kind of the category I fell into with like social media training. And that was at the time that industry, I don't know if you know too much, but it was just like these excessive rates.
Yes, I've seen some very, very expensive coaches out there, which is just crazy.
Yeah. And it was kind of just like, oh, well, you're paying this much. And it kind of like was honestly a bit like of a pyramid scheme, to be honest. It was just like, well, this is what I'm paying this person. And like, yeah, what you charged, it like became very unethical.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like a thing of like, oh, what the fuck is actually happening around me right now? So yeah, being able to just charge what actually made sense, who your client was, doing the right research and pricing as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you studied social media?
Yeah.
And then you were freelancing. What was your living situation, I guess? Were you living at home still at uni, or did you move out?
Yeah, living at home.
Yeah.
So I lived at home. I think I had my business for maybe it was coming up on its first year when that I moved out. So that first year as well, I could take so many more risks.
Yeah.
I was investing in mentors. I was investing in courses. Like I was putting so much back into the business because I had the capacity to financially. And mum and dad like weren't even charging me board or anything like that, which was like so nice. Yeah. I wish they probably taught me the skill of like that. The moment I started paying rent, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was in like that first year of business that I moved out.
Did they teach you about saving money? Were they encouraging you to save?
Yeah, I would say mum and dad are like more on the scarce side with money, I would say. Like not in a bad way, but like they certainly aren't like, they're very intentional, and it's like saving and all of the things. So being out of that, you know, meeting people in my adult life, I'm like, oh, people aren't like this, and like they don't have $1,000 saved. Like it was like quite jarring because like mum and dad were so intentional and safe with money.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How did you buy your first investment property? Where did that fit into all of this?
Yeah, so mum and dad have always been like, purchase a house, purchase a house, purchase a house. They actually, I want to do this for my kids as well, but they actually put money aside for me just into, I think it was just like a high interest earning account from like their mortgage. I think it was maybe like $50 a week or something like that. So that accumulated to about $30,000 by the time that I'm so glad they didn't give it to me at 21. That was the plan. But I went to Europe and I'm like, that just would have gone like blown in Europe. So they were always kind of pushing like, get a house, but I never had a partner. And I was like, I can't do it without a partner, was like the story that I had. And then once that I was kind of like 2.5 years into being with my partner, we felt like more serious in our relationship to be like, okay, cool, like let's start looking.
It's a big decision.
Yeah, it's huge. And for reference as well, his parents, they build houses and sell them is like how that they've actually built like a lot of their wealth, which has been really cool.
Handy people to know.
Yeah, exactly. So like the whole thing of property and purchasing houses has been like massively pushed on the both of us, which we're grateful for. And we're kind of just like putting it out there. And it actually worked out that my nan had the advice from her financial advisor to sell one of her investments, which was local to us. It was about 40 minutes away from us. And my dad was on the phone to her and was like, let me just check with Tay. Like she might actually purchase it, and it like needed a lot of love, this house. So he kind of just like checked with these other siblings that they didn't want to, and I was like, cool, I'm the oldest granddaughter, like surely I'm next in line. So we actually got it for a really good price. It was still like, I didn't want to rip my nan off or anything like that, so we got it like evaluated and paid that price. It was $650,000.
Amazing.
So especially with like the property markets, that was like a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom little house.
This? A few years ago?
This was mid last year.
Okay.
So we kind of, it was funny because I remember my partner putting on his vision board of like January last year. I'm like, we'll be lucky if we can get a house this year, because I'm like so logical with numbers and things like that. And then it was kind of like Feb, March that came up, but then it was a longer settlement period from like when the tenants were moving out. So I think it was maybe May, June we got the keys, renovated for 10 weeks.
How did you budget for the renovations?
Luckily, because like dad is like, he's like, your renos are always going to go over. We kind of budgeted like, we should be able to do it in about like 30,000-ish. It was definitely close to 50. And that was still considering my partner's an electrician. His brother is a plumber. His dad did all the landscaping. Dad did like the roofing upgrades and like guttering upgrades and things like that. So that was still with saving a lot in trades. It was probably closer to the value of nearly 100.
Crazy.
Thousand, I would say, which like the house did make a massive difference, like visually. And then we got tenants in pretty much right away, which was really good. And they pay $680 a week.
Amazing.
And then our mortgage repayments are just shy of 1,000. So it's like about the interest rates like just went up. So I think it was maybe like 950 is what we pay.
Yeah, okay.
Or like,
And what's the mortgage? Is it 600,000? A bit less.
No, so that's like probably a key point as well, actually, is we actually got a guarantor loan.
Yeah, okay.
So I think, what is it? It's probably for the full amount. Yeah, probably about like the 600,000. And that was another thing that allowed us to get in so quickly was we had all of the money we had saved for our deposit we could put into the renovation. So we didn't actually put anything into.
Oh, so you borrowed the full 100.
Yeah. I'm like, actually, now I say it, it's probably the 650. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so good, like seeing all the different options out there and being able to use them when they're available to you.
Yeah.
So sorry, but I'm going to quickly interrupt this podcast episode to quickly chat about the Business Accelerator. If you've been enjoying the podcast content or what I'm posting on social media and you want to work closely together with me and my team, the Accelerator is going to be the best space for you to do so. Think of the Accelerator like a business development hub where you have access to me and our resident consultants so you can be super supported in every area of your business, whether it be operations, client experience, finance, or marketing. We then support you with implementation. So no more courses of just the how-tos, whilst you also get that inside of the Accelerator. It's all about us actually supporting you as you implement. You get fortnightly check-ins where you submit your data around your revenue, your marketing, and how things are actually performing. So we can recommend adjustments for you on a fortnightly basis. You have access to advisory calls where you can have access to me and the other resident consultants to ask questions, get feedback, and get the support you need as you're implementing. This isn't going to be something that adds something more to your plate as a busy founder. It's going to be something that actually takes away from it so you feel supported as a founder. You can find out more about the Accelerator on our website. We'll link everything you need in the show notes, or feel free to just DM me on Instagram if you want to find out more and see if it's going to be the best space for you. Let's get back to the show.
Which I had no idea that you could do that with a guarantor loan.
Yeah, I only found out kind of fairly recently that you could do it completely 100%. You can borrow like up to 105% sometimes to borrow.
Wow.
Like you can borrow the costs associated with buying too, which is just crazy.
Yeah. And then we were able to release the guarantors. We just went through the process of releasing them. So in about a 6-7 month period, we've released the guarantors now.
How much is it worth now? 800,000 or something?
We just got it valued at 900.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy. I'm like, how has that happened in 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you figure out that you could afford $1,000 a week in mortgage repayments? Like, yes, you knew that you were going to get the tenant in at some point, but what was the maths behind the scenes?
To be honest, there probably wasn't the maths of we kind of just had to make that work and then just make our situation work. Something else as well that we did was we actually moved back in with Isaac's parents for the process of, I think it was maybe April, and we knew that we're getting the house. That meant as well that we could do the renovations and not have to live in the house whilst we're doing the renovation. So we could just be with them on their property. So we actually just moved out of being with them. So
exciting.
It's now only that we're kind of being hit with paying our rent and then also paying the difference.
Yeah.
But it's nice now that we've got that cash flow coming in. I think one thing we didn't really consider, which was just lucky that we were living with Isaac's parents, was you've still got to pay the mortgage repayments whilst you're doing the renovations, which I was so true. So that's an extra $10,000 you don't even really consider that it's costing you just to have the house sitting there whilst you're renovating.
Yeah. And it's good that you kind of had family members helping you and doing it with you, because if there's so many delays and you've not expected all the delays, that would be a lot to keep paying for it.
Yeah. And it was pretty cosmetic, really. We didn't strip out anything in the bathroom or anything like that. So I'm it could add up pretty quickly and open up cans of worms for expenses.
Do you share your business finances publicly?
Yes, but I haven't really too much, because the only reason being is I found in the coaching kind of space, it became the only leverage point for a lot of business coaches of this is how much I make. But I'm what are you actually doing for your clients? That's the thing that matters. So that's the only reason I've tapered off it, but I'm not opposed to sharing it.
I'd love to hear how much you made. So you said 6 figures initially in the first 6 months. Amazing.
Yeah.
How much did you make last financial year?
Last financial year was 260,000.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And you have one team member?
And then one subcontractor.
Yeah.
But she's only a casual team member as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite high profit margins.
Yeah. How much do you pay yourself?
I pay myself $100K.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing with the rest of the money in the business?
Pretty well just compounding it for the moment, especially just with coming into the baby season.
Yes, you're pregnant. How exciting.
Yeah. So that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having a lot more cash flow kind of sitting in the business to then be able to invest in things like high production podcast and things like that. But we'll be on track for this financial year to do between 400 to 500.
Amazing. And what was the difference that made it jump from 260 to almost 500,000?
Definitely outsourcing. I am like a control freak, like to the point that it's so bad, but even down to like marketing podcasts, I'm like, I can do it. But yeah, actually being able to have experts in their area just like come in and actually speed up that delivery. And my business model is quite scalable in the sense that I don't just service one-to-one clients. So bringing in more of an offer where that it's pretty uncapped. So like diversifying in that sense that it hasn't had to be my time that's increased or haven't had to have a hire, but the revenue's been able to increase.
Amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Does it feel real sometimes? Are you sometimes sitting there being like, oh, this is like crazy? Or are you like, no, I've worked really hard for this. Like, I feel like I deserve more money.
I go like between, like I go between this thing of like, am I doing enough? Am I managing things like effectively? Should it be making more? Especially when I see other people online, sharing their numbers, but it's quite often that in the business space, people are sharing like, what they're turning over. But I'm like, but how much does it cost you?
Yeah.
So that's something I'm trying to remind myself of, and something I really keep coming into, especially coming into this season, is I do want a really simple business with high profit margins that's like not actually costing me that stress coming into this season of managing team, because I don't know how I would go coming into being like, I don't know what this baby's going to be like. I don't know, what it's going to be like with servicing clients and then not having team as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How are you planning for maternity leave? Because that's a bit more difficult as someone who's self-employed.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that the government paid parental leave still applies. Like I kind of just thought like if you've got a business, they were like, you're on your own. So that was a nice surprise. So
what is it? Do you get like $900 a week for
20 or 24 weeks?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So it's around about like $20,000, which definitely just like alleviates like a bit of pressure. Like I'd still probably be fine, but I'm like, oh, it's so nice to have that.
Yeah.
And then plan is to really outsource through like more experts for my clients as well. So marketing, finance, all of the things, so that I'm not the one just having to do the service delivery. I really just don't know though. I like watch things on YouTube and I'm like, oh my God, like this mum is like, 15 weeks postpartum, still in the trenches. And I'm like, here I am thinking it might be like a 6-week period.
Yeah.
So you just don't really know, but I'm glad that I've got Kiralee, who's been with me for like 2 years now, and then Amelia. So really just having to lean on people. And then we've got a really good buffer saved in the business.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are you scared at all for the finance side of things, or are you optimistic?
I feel like honestly, it depends on the day.
Okay.
Like it's so weird. Like some days I'm like, no, I feel good. And like the buffer that I have like in the company is about 150,000. So especially for how low the expenses are in the business to keep it running, I'm like, I feel fine in that sense.
How long could you keep the business running with 150K?
A year and a half.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Probably like a year to be like conservative, but I'd probably be able to. And you're never going to be actually bringing in zero.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, I stress about making sure that I give my clients like the best experience, because I know how much that can tarnish a business more than anything.
Yeah.
So I really just want to make sure that like the service is still to the level I want it to be over this period.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you share finances with your partner completely?
Yeah. We decided when we bought a house to do so. Something that I've definitely struggled to navigate, I would say. And I still like, especially coming into this season with a baby, is like been something that keeps coming up for me, is especially being, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but being a female that does earn good money and then coming into like the mother role where it's like, I'm kind of sacrificing my body and like I'm the one that's going to be, the milk supply for the baby and like not having to rely on him completely like financially. So it's definitely been something weird to navigate in that sense. But I know when we bought a house, I'm like, you're just going in like, let's just do it kind of thing.
Yeah. So is your partner going to keep working and you're going to stay home?
Yeah.
He'll stay home, but yeah.
Yeah, he'll take like 4 weeks, but for the nature of his work as well as an electrician, he can go work for a day.
Yeah.
And then like there's a cash injection kind of thing and we'll be good. So I feel confident we've got a good emergency savings as well.
Do you earn more than him?
Yeah.
Was that difficult to have those conversations, being like, oh, I'll stay home and it'll be a big hit to our financial situation? Possibly not, because you set it up really well.
It's been weird. I feel like I go to blame money is what I've like found. So I'm like, oh, it's like the finances, and it's like that's what I'm blaming. But I'm like, more than anything, I think it's more like the emotional support in this season more than anything. And I think finances or money can be like the convenient thing to blame, because I'm like, on paper things are actually fine.
What are you blaming the money for exactly?
Definitely like where I'm like, I just feel so responsible.
Yeah.
So coming into this where it's like, I feel financially responsible, I feel responsible for team, and then I'm going to feel responsible for this baby.
Yeah, a whole nother life.
Yeah. And then even just down to I was saying it to my partner, and I'm like, I'm the one organizing like all of the clothes for the baby, and I'm the one going through like the birth prep and making sure like, can I breastfeed and like all of the things. But I'm like, what changes for you?
Yeah.
So it's like almost this resentment, but I'm just so glad we have such an open relationship where I'm like, being honest, he's probably sick of me saying the same thing 19 times, but I'm like, I just have to actually say the thing and say how I feel and be emotionally supported more than anything. I think that's what I fear than being financially supported in this season.
Definitely, especially with so much to manage and all of the unknowns for sure.
Yeah. It's been uncomfortable to ask for support.
Yeah.
Being an independent girl, I'm like, oh, I hate this. But I'm like, no, what do you actually need?
Yeah, and being able to delegate is a fun skill.
Yeah.
I've realised I really like delegating. It's been really good. I like to talk to people and then just give my work away and hope for the best.
Yeah, I need a bit of that. I like have trust issues or something.
Oh, I do as well, but yeah. It's all fun and good until something goes wrong, and then you're like, oh, never mind, micromanaging is back.
Yeah, literally. And I'm like, can you just like move that slightly to the left? I'm like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It looks good enough.
Yeah.
You asked me this in the episode we did together. What's your 5-year plan?
Well, it's definitely been a spanner in the works because it wasn't an intentional pregnancy. But I think more than anything, just like having a really simple life is what I've really come to. But in the same breath, I would still love to really grow like the podcast more than anything, and like really grow my personal brand. And just like impact business owners from like bringing in more like of the personal finance conversations as well, because I think there's so much around business and like marketing and all of the things, but I'm like, what's the life that you're actually creating as a result? So I'm excited to kind of walk the walk in that of like building a family and a business and maintaining a good relationship, maintaining my health. So yeah.
What does a simple life look like for you?
One that's like mostly stress-free, I would say.
Okay.
So I think like finances play such a huge role in that, right? Like I think it's such a big piece in why that we're stressed. So just being able to have a life of, similar to you, I think like that freedom of choice more than anything. And one that doesn't look like a lot of bad sacrifice. Like I know like a good life requires sacrifice, but in that sense to just like have a healthy, simple life and simple weekends, like just like a slow life really.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I'm very busy, so that sounds very nice.
But then in the same breath, I'm like, you create so much chaos and busyness for yourself. I'm like, you say you want this, but then I'm like, oh yeah, like Sydney for podcast, do this.
So it's like you choose it. It's your chaos.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel chaotic when like you want to do it, I guess, compared to when someone is forcing you to do something, or you have to do something, or you feel like you have to.
Totally. It's that choice piece.
I feel the same where I'm like, oh yeah, I want like a nice routine, and then I go randomly to all these different places, and then I'm really tired and I'm like, oh, never mind. Maybe next year.
Literally, I'm like, 2026 is going to be the year. And then you're like, oh, we're 3 months in. Like,
I can't
maybe
believe
not.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So yeah.
No thanks. Do you have a like final money tip that you've learned so far for anyone listening, or biggest money lesson?
I would say similar to the conversation we're having over on my podcast, but just like awareness is so massive. And I used to have like a real like emotional response to money, I would say. So being able to just like do the work around that of just like knowing that it's there to support you, like money's not out to try and get us. And building like those buffers and those safety nets to feel then really grounded in your decision making around money.
I was going to wrap this up, but now I'm like, oh, exciting new things to talk about. What was the emotional response?
Well, I did this like process of like writing a letter to money. Have you ever done that before?
I haven't, but I've told other people to do it.
Yeah. And it was so interesting where I feel like it was this constant, like, I feel like one moment I can trust you, next moment I can't. Like that was the response around it. And I think going right into business where, yes, I had like, casual and part-time jobs, but that was like my first, like I've never had a salary. I've never.
Yeah, crazy. That's so cool.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like for my whole life, it's like has been this fluctuating thing. And I think now coming into that, I'm like, oh, how can we just create a level of safety? So the best thing I ever did, even as a sole trader, was just draw a consistent, wasn't actually like a wage, but like what am I taking home every single week to create that safety for me as a person, and then seeing the business as a separate kind of entity, which it is.
Yeah, that's been really difficult for me as well, being like, it's not my money anymore, it's separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you've just gone and done all these things. Like, you are still so young and you've just like made it all work, which is really, really cool. I love people who just decide to do the thing, and it just seems like you're doing that and you've made it work, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Who are your ideal clients? If anyone listening wants help with their marketing, who are you targeting?
Definitely more like the small business owners. So like maybe 1 to 2 team, or you're looking at hiring. So in the service space predominantly is like where I really thrive. And I love all things like systems is the main thing. So being able to actually create systems so that you as a founder can step out. I think a lot of the time we like operate in so much chaos in business. So really being able to, where can we simplify everything? Where can we simplify even just like processes around money, processes around marketing? So yeah, I think for people that are like, how do I grow? What are the next steps? Because I think you can't read the label when you're in the jar.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you actually offer? Is it like coaching services?
Yeah, so more like either one-on-one consulting services is predominantly what we do. And then we have like just different levels of touch points. And then we have like education housed inside of that. So we like bring on a lot of experts. So we just had someone yesterday that's all in like finance. So being able to read your profit and loss and like just get the education you need for business that we're not taught.
Yeah, amazing. And where can everyone find you and your podcast and all of this stuff?
Simply Business is the podcast. And then just the Taylor Lee C on Instagram, I think, is my handle, because the Taylor Lee was taken.
Amazing. I love that. Thanks so much for joining us.
And that's another episode of Simply Business. I would love for you to rate this podcast, comment below if you have any feedback, DM me on Instagram, and even better, share it with your friends, family, or share on Instagram. See you in the next episode.